Hi everyone and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. So I've been thinking, and in the next week or so, depending, it's kind of been a little crazy this week, I'm going to have my new little office set up. So it's going to kind of change the layout of this recording, and I want to do a little something extra, like take character of the week and bump it up a notch. So I have a few ideas. I'll keep you updated, and hopefully in at least maximum 2 weeks we'll be in my new little office space, which is basically the corner of the house right across from me. I mean, you're just literally going to see a different wall or something more exciting. So yeah, keep that in mind. But for today, let's get to today's General Hospital recap. So at the Metro Court, Nina is at the bar and she orders the biggest martini ever, and she gets it. Like, it's in one of those daiquiri cups. At least it's a daiquiri thing I got from like medieval times way back in the day. So yeah, pretty crazy. And Dylan walks up, and Dylan thought Nina was going on vacation because apparently she told people and was really excited. And she's like, no, it was a bad idea. She's disappointed and a little drunk. We're getting there. And she starts talking about how Crimson will be her baby and Crimson won't disappoint her. And yeah. So Nina at this point now is very drunk, like the drunkest I've ever seen her. And she wants to go to the office, and she almost falls, and Dylan grabs her. And so Dylan's walking her to the elevator because he's like, you need to go home. And the extras at the front table are just like so amused by Nina and Dylan. Like, I don't know what like the director told them to do, but if it was like laugh in your hand and like make glances, they nailed it. Give them their Emmy. At Franco and Nina's place, Franco's having a fit to himself, and he throws something against the wall, and amazingly, it startles Kiki, because remember, she doesn't like loud noises, and he tells her that he and Nina had another fight, and he says that she caused the fight because he called her his kid, but it wasn't her fault, and he says they're at an impasse. So he has to go to work, but he's hesitant, and she's like, no, go. You need to go to work. I can't be expected to have constant company. So after he leaves, she picks up the phone, and then she hears sirens outside. She gets startled, and then she calls Morgan, who is either like in a session or whatever, not accepting calls at the time. I don't know, because they don't connect her, because she has to call the place first, and then you know how it works. I don't have to explain it to you. So Dylan brings Nina back home and offers to make her tea, and she's really drunk, and she pulls Dylan in and kisses him, because that's what you do. So then she manages to get his shirt off in some act of magic, I don't even know, and he tries to get it back from her, and then she kind of falls asleep while she's like holding him. And he tries to get his shirt out from under her when Kiki walks in. That's not awkward at all. So oh my god, she heard the whole thing, so she knows what's going on. She knows it's not some awkward, weird thing she walked in on. And Dylan's gonna put Nina in bed, and it just looked like a really fun scene to watch, because at the end of the day, he like has her over his shoulder and like takes her into the other room. At General Hospital, yeah, Obrecht is giving Dr. Finn the boot, and Carly comes in with Jocelyn. Jocelyn apparently loves bearded lizards, and he's like, most people don't know them. And she's like, oh, well, my dad lives in Australia, and we go to the Outback all the time. And he's like really impressed with her. So they came for Lucas, but he left for dinner. And so they're headed to the ER when Dr. Finn offers to check Jocelyn out. She has a rash on her face. So apparently she's been sluggish and had a sore throat. Oh my goodness, I gave her my illness. I feel so responsible. And she has fist disease? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I did not finish medical school. Spoiler, I didn't even really start it. By really start it, I mean I had 1 year of medical terminology. Anyway, so it's common. It's gonna be fine. Like, she's gonna be fine, but he sent some of her blood work down just, so they could get other stuff checked out, like as long as you're there. I don't subscribe to that theory. You're not taking my blood unless you have to. I got my blood taken like twice. Once was in December, and once was when I was like 7. Okay, that's it's like cicadas. I get my blood taken like once every 17 years. I didn't do the math there. It doesn't have to be 17 years. I'm just a cicada when it comes to blood work. You get it. So Franco, jumping over the other side of the hospital, Franco tried art therapy on himself and failed. Doesn't work like that, I don't think. So Obrecht talks to him, tells him to cut his losses, and then he says he loves Nina, or else he wouldn't put up with this emotional torture. Maybe it's a personal thing. Oh, hello, ECAT. Oh, maybe it's a personal thing because of a personal experience I had where someone who was supposed to like care was like, "Oh, I have to put up with this like against me." But like when you use the phrase "put up with" against like a person you're supposed to care about, you have lost me like 100%. You just went down like 100 points in my book, and yeah, I'm not okay. So he brings Kiki up and about like her getting put in the middle of this whole thing, and Oberk suggests that Nina have a Kiki of her own. So after like some really questionable suggestions, it sounds like the message that Franco got is get Nina a dog. Yeah, that's gonna do the trick. Um, I'm not saying anything against dogs. I like dogs. I have dogs. I like cats. I have cats. I just don't know if they're a substitute for someone who desperately wants children. You know, personal experience here, because I'm the opposite. I love my animals, that's what I'm good with. So Dr. Finn and Carly get to talking, and Obrecht interrupts, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing anymore." At the PCPD, lots going on. So Carlos tells Alexis about the deal, and she advises him to turn it down. Surprise, surprise. And Carlos is skeptical because she's Julian's wife, and he's going to reject her offer of representation, and he's going to sign the deal. And she asks what protection he has in place for after he does that. When he's in the slammer. What do you got? What do you got up there? What do you got going on? So Alexis warns him that the DA could change his mind and really lays it on thick. So she says there's a possibility of him getting acquitted if he goes with her. And then Alexis decides to get the big guns out and brings up Sabrina and the baby, and she talked him out of the deal and for her to represent him. And then Carlos says that he never wanted to roll on Julian, so he's happy it worked out like this anyway. Yeah, funny how that happens. Lomax shows up and wants answers from Jordan. Can't falter, right? Her DA was just arrested. So Jordan says there's DNA evidence and she has a witness, all that stuff. And she wants 24 hours to gather more evidence, I guess, before she has to file formal charges. But Lomax isn't having it, and she thinks Jordan is undermining Paul, and she wants her to release Paul, like, right now. Speaking of Paul, let's see what's going on in the holding cells. Paul's throwing a fit in his holding cell because he doesn't know how to deal with the consequences of his actions. And he thinks that they'll be out any minute, because Carlos is going to take the deal. So Paul says that he can get them, him and Anna, out of this mess, but she doesn't want to ally with him. Can't imagine why. And she asks why he's so interested in her. And frankly, I think that's a question we've all been asking. So he says he admires her commitment to the law, and Paul thinks that if she doesn't like physically pull the trigger on Carlos, and like Carlos just happens to die, like if Sonny had killed him in Ecuador, then her hands are clean. And no, doesn't work like that, especially in Anna's world. Okay. So she doesn't understand what his endgame is, and he says he's in love with her. And she's like, "That's absurd." And I'm sitting here going, "Yeah, it is. Team Anna right now." And she laughs at him when he tries to say how much he admires her. And I'm just like, literally, nobody is buying what you're selling, Paul. You think you're a lot better than you are. So she says there's a difference between them. She owns her crimes and he doesn't. And Anna says that she has no feelings for him besides loathing him. And I was like, I like her style. You know, she could have just gone with the nope, but she had to like add the extra push to it, you know? And then Lomax comes in, releases Paul because there is no justice in the world. At Sunny's office, that's located somewhere, not sure. I used to know. Is it in the restaurant? Is that the office that's in the restaurant? I forget the name. I think it started with a P. I'm not sure. So whatever happened with Michael running the restaurant? Oh, then he found out. Yeah. Can we get back to that? I like that idea. Michael running the restaurant. Anyway, that was like from forever ago. I know. I can't. I can't remember what happened 2 weeks ago, but I can remember Michael was supposed to run the restaurant, right? So Sonny says that this is Julian's last chance. And Sonny asked Julian if he ordered Carlos to kill him, and of course Julian admits it. Just kidding. He's like, no. And I think that's the one thing Julian actually didn't do, right? So Julian holds strong that he has no idea who shot Sonny and he has nothing to do with it. And Sonny brings up his many lies. I like how he brought up that Jake Doe did it, and then this, and then that, and then that. So Julian brings up how it's possible that Sonny resents him for getting out of the business because he never could. And I'm like, that is a good point that I feel like I've brought up and a lot of people in the past, like few months brought up, but it's undermined by the fact that Julian went back in the business, like what always happened to Sonny. So you need to get off the high horse and get on like a donkey, okay? And I have a donkey. You just come visit the donkey. He's very nice. So Sonny nearly stabs Julian in the hand, and like, you know the knife sawing thing where you like stab between your fingers. He didn't play that. He just stabbed like a letter opener or something between his fingers. And Sonny makes the case that Julian is only alive because he lets him be alive, and if Carlos dies, he dies. Dun dun dun. He sounds like one of those people that like it's I don't know. I can't articulate it, but it's just like, okay, you sit there and think you're running the show. That's cute. You know those people that like think they like run everything and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go do this now and you have no control over it. And that end scene, woo! Yes! Oh my god, almost up to full power. I'm at like 85% power right now. So like personally, not my iPad is at 47%. I don't know what this at, but Carly, 85% power. So Carly tries to defend Dr. Finn, but he sends her to the exam room to like be with Jocelyn, and he wants Obrecht to, both of them to lay their cards out. Basically, they don't like each other. They accuse each other of being dangerous, and Obrecht is like, you will practice medicine here over my dead body. And Dr. Finn's like, I could find a way to make that work. I'm like, I love you. Marry me, okay? Dylan offers to stay and make Kiki tea, but she says she's good and then he goes to leave and she gets a call from Morgan and she tells Morgan she's fine, which I think was an improvement over why she was originally calling. Sonny wants Carlos watched around the clock. Sorry, Sonny, the bad thing already happened. Alexis is representing him. Alexis tells Julian she convinced Carlos to let her represent him and he thanks her again and she's like, this is, just as much for me as it is for you. I'm like, this is so not where you wanted to be, Alexis. Like, you work so hard to get away from being like a mob lawyer, and look where you are. Didn't work. Jordan tells Paul that there's a search for the missing Emmy and a full investigation into what happened with Sloan, and he's like, okay, cool. And Carlos is Anna's new neighbor in the holding cells, so that should be a bundle of fun. Right? Okay, tomorrow is Wednesday, and I will be normal time Wednesday. It's the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, that are going to be a little later. I'll give you more details on that tomorrow. But in the meantime, since I am making these, like, changes and, like, kind of upping it a notch, if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see when I'm in my new office space, aka across the room, let me know in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow normal time for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye.